Yes, we'll go straight to the conversation. The Senate spokesperson is here with us in our Abuja studio. Senator Yemi Adaramodu joins us in our Abuja studio. Distinguished, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, good morning, my dear brother, and good morning, my dear sister. Good morning to Nigerians.
Yes, Senator, Nigerians are looking in the direction of the People's House, which is the National Assembly, in the midst of what we're dealing with. So maybe the good place to start. How is the Senate approaching what is going on in our country? The Senate at some point, and the National Assembly in general, was generally criticized, given what we saw at the subcommittee congressional hearing, which sounded like are they more interested in our affairs than our people are interested in our own affairs? So how do you make of what has played out so far? Let's build from there.
You know, thank you very much, my dear brother, and thanks to Nigerians. You know, before the issue of the American Congress mentioning anything about security or insecurity in Nigeria, yes, Nigeria is very strategic, especially to world politics and to world development. So that's why it is topical for any country, any advanced country in the whole world to mention Nigeria and make Nigeria a focal point of discourse in any situation, both politically, economically, and security-wise. That is what we saw in the American Congress mentioning Nigeria about the security and the security. And you know, earlier before then, just even before we went on our legislative break, that the Senate had already planned out security summit to be organized across the geopolitical zones of Nigeria, and then that is even ongoing. It is ongoing, and we are going to aggregate all the views of our people from all the geopolitical zones of Nigeria, the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, and the states, and we are still going to bring it forth for debate and again for submission to Nigerians and to the executive. Be that as it may, the issue of security and the security in Nigeria is quite topical. It is, we have been saying it that it's not an issue that has just started yesterday or today. It has been on at least for some few years back now, when it has exacerbated seriously with the Boko Haram incursion in the northeast, and then the generation to kidnapping, to banditry, and to this outright terrorism. Yes, and either it is political terrorism, religious terrorism, or commercial terrorism, which is kidnapping. So it has degenerated to all of this. And we in the Senate, and by and large the National Assembly, we have taken the bulls by the horns. We have always been doing that one. We started by doing appropriation appropriately for the military and making sure that they do not lack whatever they ask for from the National Assembly. Because when they bring appropriation, in order to make sure that there could be a smooth advance of our military towards these miscreants, towards these undesirable elements, we had never shirked our duties in doing that one. And not only that, we have engaged the service chiefs severally. Not only when we are screening them, we always sit down with them, ask questions from them, what is happening, what is going to happen, where do we come in, and then the executive, through the president, has been doing very well about it. And we will know that just a few months ago, we had almost a very, very good run in Nigeria, whereby the incidents of all these sporadic attacks and then this generalized kidnapping was not even coming to the fore. Just of recent, the whole thing just came up again. And we know that that is why they call it insurgency, something that that surges suddenly. So that's why they call it insurgency. And then even the steps that Mr. President took just a few days ago, we are not forced with it by declaring emergency on security and insecurity in Nigeria. Yes, and we know that about 2 days ago, even all throughout this week, the National Assembly had made only the security of Nigeria and Nigerians the only topic that we are debating at plenary, and we are collating all our reports. And in the Senate especially, 2 days ago, we were there for almost 7-8 hours debating, talking about it. It was an open debate. It was not even done under camera. It was an open debate that people who were in the gallery, they watched us, media people, they were there, they saw us debating it and making sure that all these things are just brought into stoppage. That is what we are concerned with now. And moreover, we would know that zonal security summits are still ongoing in all the the regions of Nigeria, and then by next week we aggregate all our reports and then put it into another assemblage of ideas which we are going to send to Nigerians and to the executive. And not only that, we are even bringing up some other bills which are going to maybe yield more opportunities, more advantages, more funds for the Nigerian military, because we believe that it's not only the government that can do this alone anymore. And then we are very, very interested in the way that Mr. President has made sure that he concerns himself solely about the security of property and lives of Nigerians. Look at when he was supposed to even go and attend a G20 meeting in South Africa, the meeting that he's supposed to attend in Luanda, EU summit, which he did not go. He just did it. And for the first time, we are seeing a president that is even seriously alive to his duties, seriously concerned that, yes, we have to make sure that all these things are put behind us. And like we say, we have already said it, that we don't want to pay condolence visits anymore. And the only people that will be paying condolence visits are the kidnappers. They will be paying condolence visits to themselves. Because we are going to tackle this. We are not going to hold guns by ourselves. But what is going to make sure that those people that we hold guns and confront them, that we make them comfortable, we make it very easy for them to confront them, that we are going to make sure we initiate that.
Yes, all the actions taken by the legislature and the executive in the last couple of days have been noted, but some Nigerians would say this is reactionary and, in fact, tantamount to selective outburst, particularly following reports that from the bandits and terrorists and videos that they will now begin to kidnap legislators and politicians. And some would ask if that is the reason that senators now, the National Assembly now seems, to be on its toes with debates as far as security is concerned. And relatedly, to support the point that this is reactionary, prior to the attack in Kwara State, where worshippers were abducted, Kwara had been under siege. We saw Yelwata attack where hundreds of Nigerians were killed. We saw on the Plateau too, where hundreds of Nigerians were massacred. So in sacking the committees on national intelligence and Air Force and security, why did the Senate stop short of that and not demand accountability from the Ministry of Defense itself? Why haven't we seen the National Assembly summon the Minister of Defense to answer critical questions that was, in fact, that were raised on the floor of the Senate?
Thank you.
Relating to, lapses in the military, where intelligence were made available prior to the attack of the kidnap of the Kebbi girls, and this intelligence, was not acted upon.
Thank you, my dear sister. Number one is that when we saw that the Commander-in-Chief himself had already summoned the military and the Ministry of Defense, and then they were giving periodic briefing, almost daily briefing now. And then we find it very unnecessary for us to just double deal with them again. And this is in a public space, that Mr. President is meeting with them almost on daily basis. The service chiefs, the ministers of defense, both the substantive minister and minister of state, and those people that are supposed to even give a military and the security intelligence to the military and to the police, so that they can do their job very well. So once we know that Mr. President is doing this one, then is it necessary again to be dragging them, to be asking that question? Because there are some questions that when they are giving the answers are not supposed to be in the public domain, which the CEC, the Commander-in-Chief, would have availed himself of, and then a deployment of all forces that could counter this terrorism. And even about us, in the National Assembly, there had never any time that we shirked our own responsibility in making sure that we give responses to whatever security challenges that we have experienced in Nigeria. We have sponsored several bills. We have brought out so many motions, and we have we have engaged the security chief severally, either closed door meetings, even open door meetings. We have done all those things. So, and you know, laws are made due to the experience of the people. And for example, in the lexicon, in criminal lexicon in Nigeria, we have never heard of bandits before. This is the first time we are hearing bandits, kidnappers. Before, we used to know of the Boko Haram many years back, but after the Boko Haram was decimated, ISWAP came in, ISWAP met a brick wall. Now they degenerated into banditry to kidnapping. And so when we now look at it, that Boko Haram has now graduated from being a political or a social-religious terrorist, they are now becoming commercial terrorists, whereby they are now bandits, they are now kidnappers asking for ransom when they seize Nigerians. Definitely, it means that tactics must change. Once those miscreants, the undesirable elements are changing their tactics, then the tactics of those people that are going to make sure that we remedy the situation, both the National Assembly and then the executive, must change tactics. And that is why in our last discussion, our last debate, we said that kidnapping now, because it is now even taking more lives of our people than those people that we even call the Boko Haramists. So that's why we said that, yes, kidnapping now will carry the supreme price. That is, they have to be fired too. They have to face that death penalty as any other terrorist would do, because they are commercial, they are mercantile terrorists. So they should face it. So those are areas, because like you asked, that why are we now on our toes? We had always been on our toes. Because, one, let me tell you something. The terrorists, kidnappers don't know anybody's identity. It's not their business. They are doing it for commercial purposes, and at times just to decimate. Because at times we just even ask yourself that how can some people just go to a village, just set the houses on fire, and then anybody that's there to escape, they start shooting or they start macheting that person? You will just ask that questions. So now, those were the things that initially that we were made to see, especially from the Northeast. But it's now degenerated to kidnapping people, to be taking ransom. And then even after ransom payment, they still kill. So that is why we have now said that since these people are changing their tactics, they are changing their modus operandi, then laws must change. Then our action must change. Then our own modus operandi too, in tackling them, must change. That is why you are seeing another rev up, another tempo, another placement of style and responsibility from the National Assembly. That's why you see it, at least in the past few days. Because we thought, and we know, and Nigerians know, that for some time past, we had had some seeming respite from these miscreants, from these undesirable elements. But just of the reason, maybe about 1-2 weeks back, they rev themselves up, and we are revving ourselves up to make sure that we deal with it, we tackle it, and then we exterminate it. That's why you see us in the National Assembly coming up smoking. That's why even the executive coming up smoking. And for the first time, look at Mr. President. He could not even attend to any other thing except the security matter. And this is the first time that a president will even declare emergency on security. So you can see that it is all of us, not only the legislation, the executive, even the judiciary too. Look at the way they are now prosecuting those people that were caught as a terrorist, either Boko Haramists, either ISWAP, or whatever they call, whatever nomenclature or appellation they give to themselves. They are now being judged.
The thing is, if you can hear me, Senator, if you can hear me.
Like before, that we are not even hearing anything about whether they have arrested anybody, whether they have put anybody behind
Senator,
bars.
can you hear me, sir? My apologies. Distinguished, can you hear me? Oh, dear. If you can hear me, Distinguished.
I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
We've seen the debate. We've seen the energy. We've seen some of the actions from the federal government. We've also seen the robust engagement and sometimes heated sessions in the Senate and the House of Reps. So it's commendable. The effort is good, but Nigerians are looking for results, not effort, with the greatest sense of respect to what the members are doing. Now, what you have said and some of the action you are taking, you said the Senate and the National Assembly is taking to reposition the laws to reflect current reality since they decided to metamorphose and metastasize the laws now have to catch up with them with the death penalty if they are caught. But that seems to be in contradiction to what we're seeing from the executive, and I'll explain to you why. The Gazette number 212, volume 108, under former President Muhammadu Buhari, government notice number 169, that's Abubakar Malami, on gazetting this bandit. The document titled Order Declaring the Activities of Yan Bindiga Group, Yan Tada Group, and other similar groups in any part of Nigeria as terrorism and illegal, proscribing their existence and restraining any person or group of persons from participating in any manner whatsoever in any form of activities in any of the groups. So this is basically bandits being proscribed. Now, the people that have been released, whether in Kebbi or Kwara or Niger, we're not clear on what has happened. Were they released? Were they rescued? Were they ransomed? Because if the Senate is saying, no, we have to go tough on these people, is the Senate ready to ask questions that Nigerians are asking? We are happy the people are released. What happened to the abductors?
Yeah, thank you, my brother. You find out that even in the Senate resolution of 2 days ago, there was an ad hoc committee that was set up to probe what happened to the intelligence sent forth before the kidnap of our children in Kebbi Girls Secondary School, and that we were made to hear, especially from the governor of the state, that yes, some soldiers were guiding that area before, and then maybe a few minutes after they left the place, those people just struck, and then they kidnapped our children. So that one, the Senate had already set up an ad hoc committee to probe into that, and then equally probe what led to the death of one Brigadier General Musa Uba. And now going to what you said, my brother Geoffrey. Number one is that the way and the manners, the modus operandi of the military, how they rescue victims, cannot, and we don't expect that one to be made public. Number one is that they, as a security agents, our own message to them, and the job we give to them is that go and rescue the victims, go and rescue our girls, go and rescue our parents, go and rescue the worshippers. They went into the forest, they rescued them. Then how they did that one, you know, they are not likely to share that one with us. Number one, they will not tell us how many bullets that they shot. They will not tell us how many guns that they even lost in the exercise. But what we know is that they came back, they brought those people that were kidnapped, those people that those people ferried into the forest, they brought them back. And we know by the time we start all this, the new laws, the new rejigging, and then so many other things, like we have already from the House of Representatives, that it is becoming illegal to even negotiate with bandits, not only paying ransom, to even sit down with them and be negotiating with them and be telling them, okay, if you give us a loan, we are going to give you this, or if you release our child to us, we are going to give this money. Whoever negotiates. So once we do all those things, definitely we cannot be probing into activities of whoever releases or rescues any victim of kidnapping. But from what happened, at least in the past 2 or 3 days, when our girls and our mothers and fathers were kidnapped, and then we charged the military, we charged the police, we charged the DSS, we charged all of them, and we even charged Mr. President to bring our people back. And they were brought back, though some people are still held back, and we are very sure that within a very short space of time, those ones will be brought back. So it will be needless for us to be asking from soldiers that how many shots of guns did you make when you went to Eruku Forest? How many bandits did you exterminate when you went into Kebbi Forest? We will not be asking that question from them, and all we know that is that our people were brought back home safely and alive.
But Nigerians are asking, even if the modus operandi would not have been, disclosed, Nigerians are asking why arrests were not made. why exchange of gunfire was not seen in the release of the Kirby girls, and indeed
nobody will go to the forest with a camera. Nobody will go to the forest with a camera to go and photograph and do video. Nobody will go to do that.
The federal government, the federal government,
the soldiers will not be justifying their own activities by maybe showing the video
the defense headquarters. The defense headquarters celebrates the neutralization of terrorists and insurgents in its briefing, in its regular briefing.
If
that is the case, why is this different?
No, that was a large-scale attack. The ones that the defense headquarters were celebrating, that was a large-scale attack, whereby they needed warplanes to go and bomb and comb.
So
that was a large-scale attack.
Why is this different?
That one could be celebrated openly, and then they can even show the pictures of those areas where they have shot guns and they have done all those things. Like there were some times in Nigeria now, very recently, that even when there was a miss of targets. And then we Nigerians, we cried foul. And again, so the military are now very worried, especially in disclosing how, where, when, what.
But Nigerians are not asking for the modus operandi. They are not asking for how it was carried out. They're asking for results. Why you have not explained to Nigerians?
Yes, that is the result.
Why this is different?
The result is that
why?
The result is that our people were kidnapped and were brought back home.
That's not the answer to the question.
But if anybody
what
has
I'm asking is why, amid the rescue of worshippers and the Kirby girls, why there is no report of an exchange of gunfire that saw the neutralization of bandits and terrorists.
Who is going to give the report? Who will give the report? Is it not the soldiers that we sent to the bush? The soldiers that we sent to the forest to go and rescue?
Then why has the Senate leadership sacked the leadership of the committees of Air Force and National Security and Intelligence if they have not done their work? Is that not seen in the lack of results in the rescue of the Kirby girls and
for us in the National Assembly? Hello? I can't hear you.
Go ahead.
For us, I can hear you now. For us in the National Assembly is that we have to make sure that marauders, undesirable elements, miscreants that are troubling the peace of Nigeria, they are put into check, and permanently Nigerians can sleep with their two eyes closed. We can travel from Lokoja to Kafanchan without any fear. We can travel from Ogoja to Maduguri without any fear. Everybody can carry out his or her own business without any molestation. That is the concern of the National Assembly. The concern of the National Assembly is that we have in place laws, regulations, statutorily made, enunciated, that can make sure that anybody that goes outside all the prescripts of what the law says must be held accountable, held responsible, and then face the music. That is the concern of the National Assembly. We do not own guns, and we are not praying that our people are kidnapped. So ours is that this must not happen again, and that we do not want to visit any location, any locality, go and pay any condolence visit. That the only condolence visit that must be happening in Nigeria is that kidnappers must be paying themselves condolence visits when they are caught and when they are sentenced. If they do not repent, if they do not get out of these nefarious activities, that is the concern of the National Assembly.
Distinguished point you've raised, but the concern here, and I think you need to understand where Nigerians are coming from. If we don't know what happened to the abductors, it's going to erode confidence in the people, and I'll explain why. So, for instance, there could be speculation that government paid ransom. Now, that is in the realm of speculation. There could be, because the spokesperson of the president, one of the spokespersons, Mr. Bayo Nanuga, said they contacted the bandit. And then I don't know what was said between them, and they released the people. So that feels like when we don't have a strong categorical explanation as to what happened to the perpetrators of evil, enemies of our state, don't you think that is going to further erode confidence in the people, albeit the fact that besides the fact that people are being released? It's like, okay, let's just settle this, and then we hear another attack. I don't know whether you get my drift. If you can answer in 1 minute.
No, from our own side at the National Assembly, we believe that the federal government did not pay any ransom to anybody. If there was any contact to bandits, there are several types of contacts. Contacts can be negative, it can be positive. Contacts can be through force, contact can be through persuasion, contact can be through in any way. And then, like I said, we do not expect the military or the police or the DSS to just come in the open and say that when we trek for 3 kilometers, we shot two bullets. When we got there, 3 hours later, we shot 5 bullets.
My apologies.
We are not expecting that one.
My apologies.
We are not expecting that one. So if you have not seen the corpses of abductors, if you have not seen the corpses of abductors, and you have not seen them being handcuffed from the forest, then that one does not mean that there was never a very strong and serious exchange of battles between them.
Distinguish, your point is noted. The whole idea is to build
because it is even possible. It is even possible. No, my brother. It is even possible. It is even possible. Look, let me tell you something. It is even possible that when the abductors might realize that superior power is coming, and then they could even abandon their victims.
And let's hear.
And fled.
Distinguish, let's hear. It's just like somebody.
They could. Yes, they could. Because if they know that superior power was coming, and moreover, the whole atmosphere was charged. The whole Nigeria was charged. Nigerians were charged, and then they knew that government meant business.
So when they knew that superior power was coming,
they will abandon their victims and fled.
No. At least
that could happen.
Let's hear the full story. What we're saying here is that after those attacks, in fact, as they were released, 24 hours, more people were abducted. So I don't know where the superior power comes from. What we're saying is that if somebody comes to your house... No, distinguish, just hold on.
Look,
if somebody comes to your house... just hold on.
This is a guerrilla warfare. It's like a guerrilla warfare. Let me tell you something. My brother, it's like a guerrilla... When you call somebody miscreant, when you call somebody an undesirable element, they are always very stubborn. They are very, very recalcitrant. Right, you understand that? So it doesn't mean that if some people were the Air Force of Nigeria had been bombing all these migrants several times. Did it stop some of them from coming out again?
All right, the thing is, we're totally out of time. But what we are saying on behalf of Nigerians that the Senate and the House of National Assembly should give us full disclosure as to what happened to the abductors. I was giving an illustration to say, distinguished, God forbid, people come to your house and rob your family, take out your property and all of that. Then all of a sudden the police comes and say, oh, we've recovered your property and all of that. You would like to know, did you arrest the criminal? Where did you catch them? Did you kill them? That is exactly the scenario we're painting here. Not just that you return my property. I want to know what happened to the man who intimidated my life.
There are so many times that even when the police is coming to my place, and then if the miscreants know that, definitely those people that are coming to rescue me, to assist me, that they are more superior in power than them. They are likely to surrender all those things that they steal, and then just run away, because it would be very, very needless for the police to start pursuing them once those people have surrendered those things and they have already fled. So it can happen like that.
We're totally out of time.
I want business in the National Assembly is to make sure that we stamp out the activities.
We agree, distinguished. We agree, distinguished. That they to stamp out, but we're not talking about them running away because police is coming. We're saying they've stolen your property and they took it away, and then the police returned your property. But we must thank you, Senator Yemi Adaramodu.
No, you're asking about myself. You're asking about myself.
Totally it's not a personal question. It's just an illustration.
If I were if my car was stolen, and then I report to the police, and the police brings back my car to me, I will not ask from the police that did you kill the thief? I will not.
No, I will ask.
So if the police tell me that yes,
kill the thief, I will ask.
If I ask, and the police tells me that they saw it at a Gwagwalada Motor Park,
Okay.
Then what do I do next?
All right, distinguished, we're totally out of time. We're totally out of time, but I'm just relaying Nigerians' concerns as far as this question is concerned. But much thank you for coming through.
We know Nigerians.
Thank you.
We are concerned. All of us are concerned. Nigerians are concerned.
Thank you, sir.
We are assuring Nigerians that yes, by the grace of God, these things will be a thing of the past.
Thank you, sir. We're totally grateful. We're grateful. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program. Distinguished Senator Yemi Adaramodu is the spokesperson of the Nigerian Senate. Thank you, sir. We'll take a